So going to our questions, we have a little bit. So our stretch questions. Stretch questions are just the ones that are going to make us think a little bit deeper. How does Androcles change throughout the fable? Kaysen.
He starts out mad, then he's scared, and then he's nervous, sad, and then happy.
So you're doing a really good job of getting those motions. He starts out bad, then scared, then what else did you have? Nervous. So great job with those emotions. I think that's a great thing to be adding. If you're going to be talking about how someone's changing, can they be changing based on his emotions? Definitely. And we see his and we hear about his emotions throughout the story. So that's a great piece to have. Claire, how else does he change? Good. So I would even want to include that piece. She said he changes his feelings about the lion. At first, he's scared, then he's friends. And I would want to include that piece about them being scared and then friends. But that's another great way he changes. Charlie.
He changes from free to a slave.
Ooh, so the physical being too. So he starts out as a slave, and then he runs away and he's free, and then he's captured again. So he's imprisoned again. And then in the end, he's free again. That's great. That's a really good connection to how he's changing through the story. Do you see how on a question like this, there's not necessarily one right answer?
Yes.
With those stretch questions, as long as you can really justify your answer and your explanation, there can be more than one way to answer it. Ray, give us one more.
He changes because first he was scared, happy, but then in the morning, Joey got to his new pet. Then he was happy because he saw the lion and the things he grew.
That is fabulous. So she kind of talked us through those events and what was happening in his emotions, but also kind of that point of capturing. So awesome job with that. As long as you had something down that explained how he changed in the story, it's perfect. Go ahead and turn to the next page, the back side of it anyway. How does the lion change in the story? I'm going to give you the sentence starter, and then I'm going to let you guys go and start it. So Cooper asked the important question, does it need to be a complete sentence? Should it be?
Yeah.
Whenever we have those, we want to be able to start using complete sentences. And one way we can do that is restating the question. So how does the lion change through the fable? The lion changes. And then you can finish the sentence. Go ahead and you write down it. So think about him through the beginning, through the middle, through the end of the story. Okay, let's talk about this one. So how does the lion change throughout this fable? Zena, let's hear yours, loud and proud.
The lion changes in the story. So first, the lion is hurt because a thorn was stuck in his paw. Then at the end, the lion is happy because the lion gets to see
Very good. So the lion changes because at the beginning he's hurt because he has the thorn in the paw. And at the end, he's a happy dude, right? Because he gets to see Androcles again. We know he's happy. He's not biting his face off. He's happy. He's happy to see him. As someone who saved his life. Ray.
The lion changes because he was hurt and he was sad. Then he was happy because he saw the person that helped the lion get better.
Good. So really talking about those events. So at first he's hurt. And then at the end, he's seeing that person who helped him get better. So he's feeling happy, right? Now, what would happen if event 1 was left out? So I'm going to look back at event 1. Event 1 is going to be when Androcles and the lion are in the cave. And the lion has the thorn in his paw and they pull it out, right? So we get rid of that part. And we're starting with Androcles in jail. If we're starting with Androcles in jail, and then he's going out to meet his fate in the Colosseum, how would the story be different? How would the whole story be different if all of a sudden we didn't have that first event? We didn't have where Androcles helps the lion. That's not part of our story. How would things be different? Turn and talk about it. Three, two, one. If event 1 is left out, for goodness sake, what might happen? Brooke. Exactly. His face could get bitten off at the end because Androcles and the lion may have never known each other, right? If that event was gone, did they ever meet? No. Ray.
It's like taking out the page in the book. It would just, the first sentence would make no sense, and then the rest of it, you would just wonder, why is he in jail? What's about the lion? It would make.
But you don't even know about the lion.
Yeah.
You have no clue about it because they've never met. If those events didn't happen, could they have ever met?
No.
No. So the ending of the story would really have to change, right? So if event 1 was left out, your ending would completely change. You do not have to write that one because we discussed it. We're going to go down and look at question number 4. What would happen if the fable was in reverse order? Before you start writing this one, I want you to go back to the other page and process that. If they start in the Colosseum, and then they end up in jail, and then they're in the cave, it's complete reverse order. I want you to process through before you start writing your answer on that one. What would happen if it was in reverse order? Once you're done thinking about it, go ahead and write it.